the sky split open, no one in Washington believed it at first. A low, bone-rattling hum rolled across the Potomac just after 2 a.m. on July 4, 1881. Fireworks had ended hours earlier, but the river still carried the smell of gunpowder and the echo of brass bands. Then came the light, white, surgical, brighter than any electric bulb Thomas Edison had ever coaxed to life. It hovered above the unfinished Washington Monument, bathing the half-built obelisk in a glow that turned marble the color of bone. Secret Service agents on the White House lawn dropped their coffee cups. President James A. Garfield, roused from uneasy sleep by the tremor in the floorboards, stepped onto the south portico in his nightshirt. The light pulsed once, twice, then folded in on itself like a dying star and vanished. By dawn, the Capitol was in chaos. Telegraph wires burned with frantic messages. The New York Herald screamed, "Heavenly visitation" or "rebel trick." Scientists from the Smithsonian arrived with brass instruments that whirred and clicked, measuring nothing. The only physical evidence was a perfect circle of scorched grass on the National Mall, 30 feet across, and inside it, a single object, a flat black rectangle the size of a dinner plate, warm to the touch, humming faintly like a beehive. Garfield, still bleeding internally from the assassin's bullet that would kill him 2 months later, ordered the object locked in the White House basement. He told his cabinet, "Gentlemen, we have been handed either the key to the future or the match that burns the past. Pray we choose wisely." They did neither. This is the true, unfiltered account of what happened next, drawn from classified War Department files declassified in 1973, the private journals of Clara Barton, the encrypted correspondence of Nikola Tesla, and the oral histories of the Lakota code talkers who guarded the secret until their deaths. It is the story of how the United States nearly rewrote human history in the span of 33 years, only to bury the evidence so deep that even the CIA's own archivists forgot where to dig. The black rectangle, later cataloged as Artifact Zero, was not of this earth. Its surface defied metallurgy. It was harder than diamond, yet flexed like rubber. When pressed, it projected moving images in perfect color onto any wall. Cities of glass floating over oceans, armies riding beams of light, children born with silver eyes who spoke in mathematics. The images cycled without repetition for exactly 11 minutes and 23 seconds. Then the device went dark for 100 hours. Always 100. The pattern never varied. Edison tried to power it with direct current. It laughed, actually produced a sound like wind chimes, and drained every battery in his Menlo Park lab in 4 seconds. Tesla, summoned in secret, wept when he touched it. He wrote in his diary, "It sings in frequencies we have not yet earned. The intervals are the Fibonacci sequence expressed as sound. God is a mathematician, and he has left his workbook on our doorstep." But the military saw weapons. In 1882, under Garfield's successor, Chester A. Arthur, the Army Corps of Engineers built a subterranean laboratory beneath Fort Myer, Virginia. They called it Project Hollow Star. Its mandate, reverse engineer the artifact before any foreign power did. Recruits were told they were developing advanced telegraphy. The truth was locked behind 3 feet of steel and a blood oath. The first breakthrough came in 1884, when a shy cartographer named Elias Thorne, recruited for his ability to sketch coastlines from memory, discovered that the artifact responded to human intention. Hold a question in your mind, press your palm to the surface, and the projection changed. Thorne asked, "Where did you come from?" the wall filled with a star map centered on a red dwarf 40 light-years away. When he asked, "Why are you here?" the image showed Earth from orbit, zooming in on North America, then on Washington, then on the White House itself. A single date flashed beneath, July 4, 1881. The artifact had chosen the centennial of American independence as its arrival point. Coincidence was not in its programming. By 1886, Holostar had produced its first derivative technology, a palm-sized disc that could store and replay any sound perfectly. The War Department patented it as the Garfield phonograph and sold it to the public through Sears and Roebuck for $12.95. Edison took credit. The military kept the version that could detonate TNT from a mile away. The second breakthrough was bloodier. In 1889, a Lakota physicist named Charles Eastman, sent to Carlisle Indian Industrial School to civilize him, but secretly recruited for his eidetic memory, decoded a sequence of glyphs that appeared when the artifact was exposed to starlight. The glyphs were instructions for building a gate, not a doorway, a gate. Eastman's translation read, in part, "To open the road between suns, you must pay the toll in years. 100,000 human lives equals 1 hour of passage." The generals did the math. The Spanish-American War was heating up. Cuba was restless. An demonstration of American power could secure the Caribbean in a single afternoon. On December 10, 1898, the USS Maine steamed into Havana Harbor, carrying a crate marked agricultural equipment. Inside was Gate Prototype Alpha, a ring of brass and quartz 20 feet in diameter, powered by a dynamo the size of a locomotive. At 9:40 p.m., the gate activated. Eyewitnesses on shore described a ripple in the air, like heat above a desert highway. Then the sky tore. Through the gate stepped ranks of soldiers in mirror-bright armor, carrying rifles that spat blue fire. They spoke English with a Midwestern accent. Their commander, a woman with colonel's eagles and a cybernetic left arm, saluted the Spanish garrison and said, "By order of the United States Continental Army, 2045 Expeditionary Force, you will stand down." The Battle of Havana lasted 11 minutes. Spanish casualties, 312. American casualties, 0. The gate closed with a sound like every church bell in Christendom ringing at once. The soldiers vanished. The prototype melted into slag. But the message was received. Spain ceded Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines before breakfast. Teddy Roosevelt was then Assistant Secretary of the Navy, aboard a yacht 3 miles offshore. He watched through binoculars as history rewrote itself in actinic light. That night he wrote in his diary, "We have looked into the abyss of time, and the abyss has saluted us with a parade." Back in Virginia, the artifact dimmed. Its projections grew faint. Eastman warned that each use shaved centuries off its operational lifespan. The generals ignored him. They wanted more gates, bigger gates, gates that could swallow armies whole. They got their wish in 1914. World War I was never about an archduke's assassination. That was the cover story. The real trigger was Gate Prototype Delta, tested in the New Mexico desert under the code name Trinity. The plan: open a portal above the Kaiser's Palace in Berlin, drop 50,000 future Marines equipped with railguns and power armor, end the war before America officially entered it. The gate opened on schedule. What came through was not American. They wore black. Their armor absorbed light. Their weapons did not fire projectiles. They erased. A single squad wiped out the 1st Infantry Division in 4 seconds, leaving nothing but boots and dog tags fused into glass. The portal inverted, sucking the test site and half of white sands into a void that smelled of ozone and lilies. When the dust settled, the artifact was cracked down the middle, leaking a fluid that glowed like molten sapphire. The war in Europe raged on without American time travelers. Wilson kept the country out until 1917. The official story, a training accident. The unofficial body count, 12,347. The artifact went dark for good in 1923. Its final projection was a countdown, 100,000 hours, exactly 11 years, 5 months, and 9 days. When the timer hit zero, November 11, 1934, at 11:11 a.m., it crumbled into dust that spelled in perfect cursive across the lab floor, "Thank you."
Subscribe for more videos.